Did the new trailer for The Incredibles 2 secretly reveal the film's true villain? The long-awaited first full trailer for Pixar's The Incredibles 2 dropped earlier this week, and it's incredible! I am so funny. Now, the trailer dropped during the Winter Games, and besides showing us some fun shots of baby Jack using his powers to annoy new stay-at-home dad Bob Parr, it gave us a sneak peek at the film's story. If you thought that all of the film's previous promo images and videos hinted at the film being basically the 1983 film Mr. Mom, but with superheroes, you win! So, from the looks of it, Helen Parr has returned to action as her alter ego Elastigirl at the request of the company DevTech and its owner Winston Dever. Now this, of course, leaves Bob to stay at home, show Dash how to do his math homework, and do everything that he can to prevent baby Jack from turning into a literal screaming monster. But did this trailer secretly reveal the film's true villain? Now, before this speculation plane takes off into the skies of Speculation City, you should know this episode of Nerdist News may contain spoilers for The Incredibles 2, so if you don't want to have anything spoiled, you might want to stop watching. Okay, so with that out of the way, we're pretty sure this trailer revealed the villain for Incredibles 2. As we mentioned before, the character of Winston Dever, voiced by Bob Odenkirk, brought Elastigirl out of retirement to act as the face of the new superhero movement, and that's what causes Bob to become a stay-at-home dad. A few months ago, Cinema Blend flat out asked if his character was the villain in the new Incredibles film, and to that very direct question, Odenkirk said, "I'm not going to wreck that. I would ruin my part of the movie if I told you if I answer that question. That is exactly the question I'm not allowed to answer, so think about that. Think about that." Now, either the former SNL writer is joking, or he was genuinely asked by Pixar to not answer that question. So if Winston Dever is indeed the big bad of The Incredibles 2, what would that even look like? In early drafts of the first Incredibles film script, the main villain, Syndrome, was only in the film for the first few minutes, and the actual villain of the film was a guy named Zarek, who was Elastigirl's jealous ex-boyfriend and also secretly a supervillain because, come on, of course he was. Now, Zarek was extremely rich, and he used his money to build a bunch of technology that made him basically immortal. His powers included the uncanny ability to always win, but the one thing he really wanted to win was Elastigirl's heart. Though Zarek wasn't used in the Incredibles film, he was used as a major villain in 2009's The Incredibles Boom Studios comic series, and with the events of Incredibles 2 taking place minutes after the events of the first Incredibles film, it's safe to say those comics are no longer canon, but at least it shows that they like the character enough to keep him around. So what does Zarek have to do with Elastigirl's boss, Winston Dever? Now, we have established that Incredibles 2 very much follows the plot of Mr. Mom, and a major plot point in Mr. Mom is the female character Caroline Butler's boss trying to convince Caroline to leave her stay-at-home husband and marry him instead. If Incredibles 2 really does take as many cues from Mr. Mom as it looks, then it will probably be established that Winston Dever has a thing for Elastigirl, and if the main villain of the film is someone who has unrequited love for H. Parr, then we think there's a huge chance their storyline will at least partially be inspired by Zarek from the early drafts of the first Incredibles film. And here are a few other fun bits that give this theory some cred. One, a main plot point in the first Incredibles film was Helen's suspicions about Bob's work relationship with the villain Mirage, and we could see Pixar giving the Parr family the opposite issue in The Incredibles 2. Two, it's been confirmed that Winston Dever has a sister named Evelyn who also works at DevTech, a character literally named Evil Endeavor. Come on, Pixar, we are so onto you. Third, if you take this concept art of Winston Dever, turn his skin green and his hair white, he and Zarek even kind of sort of look alike. None of this is confirmed, but we still think there's enough evidence to give us a good idea of who the Incredibles 2 villain will be. But what do you folks think? Is Winston Dever the main villain in Incredibles 2? Are you excited to see Pixar using Zarek in the Incredibles film canon? And do you think we'll ever get a gritty Mr. Mom reboot? No. We probably will, just because Hollywood, but no. Let's discuss. Also, be sure to like and subscribe. And did you catch our latest show, Nerdist News What the Friday? It's our week in review show that breaks everything down that you need to know in the week of pop culture. If you didn't, you can watch the VOD over on Alpha. Sign up for a 60-day free trial using the promo code WTFriday over at projectalpha.com.